Hello, this is Mr. Huff, and let's go through the Excel PowerPoint that is available through our curriculum. This is about Excel, but everything in here will also work in Google Sheets, and that's probably going to be more convenient for you to use. So spreadsheets were first developed in the 70s, and they have come a long way. So Excel was based on an earlier spreadsheet, and it is a mathematics beast. So what can you do with the spreadsheet? You can store data. You can make lots and lots of calculations. You can analyze that data in lots of different ways. And you can create charts, lots and lots of charts. Usually the one I'm interested in is the scatter plot to show how one variable influences another. So some of the basics of Excel uses an arrangement of columns, which are labeled with letters. So the columns are A, B, C, D, and it goes on and on and on and on. There are lots and lots of columns available for you to use. Excel also uses rows, and the rows are numbered. So that, and you have from 1 to a very, very high number, so you have lots and lots of space. So that's how they're arranged, columns and rows. And each cell, and a cell is the little box you see in the grid, each cell has an address, which is composed of the column letter and the row number. So you can see here they've got column C, row 12, and that's a reference point. You can use that in a calculation. You can say, take whatever is in C12 and add it to 47, and it will work. You also have the ability to have multiple sheets, and you can link calculations from one sheet to the next. But for our purposes, we only need a single sheet. And a workbook, that's what this entire thing is called, is the collection of sheets. If you want to change the name of your sheet, you double click on it and type in your new name and hit enter. There are some limitations, though. Don't use special characters in there. It is important when you're designing data tables to use appropriate headings. So the ways to get the data in there, you can type it in by hand. In some cases, you can capture it from electronic tools and copy and paste them in. And they define a data array as a row, a column, and the row and columns work together to make a table. It's also possible to name ranges of information, and I will show you how to do that if we need to, but right now we just need to know about data arrays. The order of operations works just like any math class, so you should be able to look right here and see, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So that's the order of operations. Use parentheses to force the order of operations to do what you want. So another thing is you use the housetop or the grave. It's shift and the number 6 to apply an exponent, and we will be using exponents. Use the asterisk for multiply, use a / for divide, use the plus for add, and the minus for subtract. Pretty straightforward. So if you look at the formula bar versus this value, this is the calculation they put in, and that's the result that they got. So it works out being this, 6 divided by 2 plus 1 squared times 3 plus 100. So if you look at A3 divided by A2, you get 3. If you add 1 to that, you get 4. And that 1 came from cell A5. If you raise that all to the second power, or 16, if you multiply that by 3, and 3 came from cell B6, you get 48, and you add A7 to that, and then you get 148. When you're entering a calculation, you always start it with the equal sign, and then click on the cells that you need. You can also type them in directly, and it kind of walks you through typing in this. I'm not going to go through that. You can look at this calculation. It would be equals A5 plus B5 divided by 12. I would use parentheses to force it what I wanted. To copy a formula, it's copy and paste, or you can right-click and choose copy, right-click and choose paste. To format cells, you select the range. You right-click within the range of cells, and then you select format cells, and you can see you get lots of things to choose from here as far as alignment and fonts and borders and fills and all kinds of things. You can adjust the number format, make them dates or decimals, and then you can also adjust alignment. You can also use functions And here's a list of functions like sum, average, median, standard deviation of a population, a single mode analysis of a set of data, what's the mode of that data. It also can do multiple modes, but we'll get into that if you need to. You could look at the minimum number and the maximum number in a range of data, and that's it. So let's look at one of the formulas you will have to model. In this case, you're going to calculate P. Is going to be the standard pressure, so you would just put this number times, and then put in ABS and a parenthesis, and then put the sum of these two divided by this, and then close that parenthesis, and then raise that to an exponent of 5.265 or 256. So you would have the house top here, ABS around these. I would probably put this temperature plus 273.1 in parentheses before I divided it. And this T would be a cell reference to whatever the value of this calculation was. This is the most complicated one you'll have to do. I may run an example out for you guys just to show you how to do this.